Howdy y'all, this is Dead Rockstar from Modinformer, and this is Fistful of Frags. Fistful of Frags is a Wild West multiplayer deathmatch mod for Half-Life 2, developed by the Fistful of Frags team. Released back in 2008, it's been in development ever since. Fistful of Frags is by far one of today's most successful Half-Life 2 mods. If you haven't heard of it yet, climb out from under your rock. Most recently, the game has moved from mod status and now it's running on the Standalone source engine, and because it's recently been moved to that engine, there have been some growing pains, so to speak. So, in this version, we're missing a few of the game modes from the actual mod, like Fistful of Dollars and Few Dollars More, and cooperative zombie survival. That being said, there is still a large amount of content in this version, which makes it fully playable. Mods, and it doesn't even do anything mind-blowing, but it nails what's important. It's fun. To me, above all, the only thing that matters in a mod, or any game for that matter, is that it's fun. Fistful of Frags encompasses everything a Wild West Deathmatch game should be. All of the important movie cliches are packed in. There's trains, gold, jailbreaks, and most importantly, whiskey. Typically, the goal of any of the game modes is to either get the most notoriety or the most money before the end of the round, and you can get notoriety through kills. Certain weapons that are more difficult to master will usually grant more notoriety, and you can also gain more notoriety through completing objectives such as picking up and delivering loot or defending objective points. Description of the game mode details aside, I suppose I should actually review the mod. First off, I really like how the mod plays. It reminds me of both Timesplitters and GoldenEye. I guess those are basically the same game because they're developed by the same team, but it mostly reminds me of Timesplitters 2 because of that Mexican mission map. The gameplay is fairly quick-paced, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. You can play it for pure fun or competitively. You should know it's fairly hard to run and gun in this mod. If you really want to do some damage, you'll actually have to walk or crouch to aim. On top of that, if you want to get some of the better weapons, you'll have to save up cash or loot one from one of the chests hidden around the maps. This makes it so everyone starts with a lower tiered weapon, which in turn makes it a little bit more fair, and at first that might seem sort of lame, but it actually puts some skill into the game, and I like that a lot. The weapons and the weapon system is one of my favorite things about this mod. There's a great variety of guns, and everything from the models to the animations look great. Each weapon has its positives and negatives. Certain weapons will take longer to reload than others, so planning your battles is important. Also, I have to say, some thoughtfulness went into the design of reloading. If you fire one bullet from something like a revolver, the reload time is a lot shorter, and on top of that, different animations play. This might seem like a weird thing to get excited about, but I've seen that feature in other mods, but they don't actually change the animations. In addition to that, the akimbo system in this game is magnificent. I think the best thing is the fact that you can mix and match weapons. It's important for a mod like this to have decent and memorable maps. There were a few more maps when it had a few more game modes, but there's about 20 maps in the mod currently. The scenery and overall construction of the maps is very nice. It ranges from train yards and winter forts to even something like the Robert E. Lee steamboat. Every setting you'd expect to be in a Western theme is in here. The sound design of the mod is as good as everything else. The in-game dialogue fits in perfectly with the mod, and at this time of the review, in the most recent update, Fistful of Frags has refreshed some of the characters' lines with a new voice actor. The old lines were actually kept and were set as the Desperado's default voice.
Yeehaw!
There really isn't too much for music besides the end of round music, but the sound effects sit right at home in the mod. From the gunshot sounds to the menu sound effects, nothing seems rushed or out of place. Besides the weapons and the artsy elements of the mod, there is comedy through the gameplay itself. I find some of the small effects to be the funniest. For example, if you headshot someone, that will send their hat flying, and on top of that, headshots where you knock the head off give you more notoriety. If you choose to wield the whiskey jug, you can use it to heal yourself or other players. Whiskey apparently has magical healing powers. The only problem is that every time I get the magical whiskey jug, I had no teammates to use it on, or I died instantly. Also, I find it extremely satisfying to kill opponents with the dynamite, and a lot of the time, the explosions are hilarious. If I were to say anything to the developers and have them listen to me, it would be, don't take it too seriously. So, if you want to embrace your inner cowboy, or if you've been watching Western movies your whole life and you've decided now is the time to step it up a notch, look no further than Fistful of Frags. It's fun and unique, and it's supported by an active community. And above all, it's free. Once again, this is Dead Rockstar from Modinformer, and if you like my videos, please subscribe, head over to the channel to see more reviews for other mods, and stay tuned for more video reviews in the future.